Hi guys, Dylan Tommy here. I'd like to run through the fish room. We'll check out a couple of these tanks tonight. This large planted tank is in really good shape as far as the trimming process and what I would like to do as far as the new growth and the new scape. So we'll just kind of start on this side. I added a nice piece of Ludwigia, a long stem that actually has several runners kind of coming off it already. So that'll root itself, and I'll kind of let it take over in the right side of this tank, and then again slowly remove the Rotala after the fact, you know, just to keep the vegetation in here. Here's another piece of Ludwigia that I kind of have almost the same thing tucked down into the corner. And there are the swords from the initial runner, and I mean, this sword runner is doing fantastic. All 8 of these swords that, you know, come off this main stem just look great. And I'm kind of leaving it, even with this bent piece right here. I thought I had broken it off. They're doing very well feeding off the mother plant. And you know, the stem makes its way all the way back to this thing, and I'd like to show you this, because this is something I just noticed today. Check this out. I got another runner started on this side. So we'll see where that goes. It's only gone to right about there, and it hasn't sprouted any new plant just yet. But something to look forward to in the new scape. Like I said, it's coming right along, that large planted tank, and the new plants and the new scape I have for it. I really like that Ludwigia. I'm going to let the Ludwigia kind of take over on that side. The same thing with just above that driftwood there. And we'll see what happens with those long stems of Nisea. But just transition it very slowly, you know, instead of a huge removal of all the plants that were in there, uprooting the substrate. And you know, I can be patient. It's part of the hobby. I did kind of trim up this Danio fry tank a little bit, added a couple of other plants. I just wanted it to look a little better in here. Added a couple of shells, some more rocks, some Rotala that I had clipped out of other tanks. I kind of just bunch it together, throw it in there. But this tank's looking rockin'. These Danio are looking really fat. But these are my fry. I raised these up from embryos. A little floating wisteria there. It's almost looks like a planted tank rather than just a fry grow out tank. But it's cool. I like it down here. Haven't really made too many decisions about that. Just letting those swords kind of go to town. Same thing with the guppy grow outs, you know. They're reproducing, doing their thing. The Brushardi's kind of growing out, and I'd like to put this fish into the Brushardi tank because I actually only have one Brushardi in the large tank now, because he has just completely dominated that tank and killed off the juvenile. So I'm not sure if he's going to kill off this fish if I introduce it to the large Brushardi tank. But right now he's living in there with just a little Julia chromis, another Tanganyikan, and we'll see. I'm still kind of questioning adding this fish to the Brushardi tank. Oh, another little update on these tanks. I added some Odo cats. There's that little Odo cinclus right there. Check them out. Both to this tank and this large 20 long up here, just because they're really starting to establish, and there's actually a food source in there for them to feed on. This tank's still kind of growing out. I'd like to add a couple more plants, just not too sure what we're going to do. The lighting situation on this tank too isn't the greatest. I might want to switch up the lighting. But I will kind of keep rolling for you guys. I did add a Siamese algae eater to this tank, and I just don't see him lately. Also, this little ram. This little dude, I told you I had added a male to this tank, and he's growing up nicely. He's actually looking pretty fat today. But the other 2 rams I have in here are females, so we'll get him all beefed up and acting like a dude. I had clipped this huge piece of wisteria and put it into the Brushardi tank. I'll show you where I added it to the vegetation in there. It looks like this lush. Looks like it's always been there, actually. A lot of these tanks kind of are what they are. They're in good shape just because they've been maintained and, you know, had their maintenance and had their water changes. But kind of the same old thing down here. I did add a Siamese algae eater to this tank if we can find him. And I noticed every bit of hair algae that was in this tank is gone just in the last couple of days. And Mojo's tank's looking crystal as far as the clarity of the water. Although I don't see my boy. Likely up here somewhere. Hiding deep. He's too cool. He'll always live in there. Let me show you this. How about this? This guy is totally back to full health. His tail is all the way grown back and he is just ready to rock. I noticed the female hasn't left her little territory in the back behind these rocks. And I can't really see back there, but I wonder if she's guarding anything. I mean, he's just out here kind of displaying and showing off and doing his thing. And I wonder why she hasn't been by his side. And I haven't been, you know, brave enough to kind of get in there and figure out what exactly she's doing. But I might want to check that out. Because, like I said, these fish have displayed spawning behaviors. I've seen them lay down, you know, a bed of embryos. And with him acting so randy and back to full health, I'll always be hopeful that I have fry. Let's see if we can take a look and find his gal, because she's in here. It's just so thick in this tank, I have a hard time. And check him out, look at the tail. Yep, you're back to good. Thanks for hanging out, guys. I'm gonna keep cruising. We'll head to the Brushardi tank just to take a good look in there. This tank is what it is. Jungle with that wisteria right in the middle of that lace. It's still doing good and hasn't moved. I notice I got a lot of roots growing down from it nowadays, which you can't really see because it's so thick in there. Let's give Ravi a cameo. He's always into it. All right, buddy. Yeah, I haven't done much with this tank that I told you that I had set up. What I've been doing is kind of just letting the snails breed like crazy, and I've been feeding them to the puffer. So that tank's still establishing for the most part, and still not sure what I'm going to do with it. But here we go with the Brushardi tank. The plants in this tank are just large as they've ever been, and I'm letting it go. I love the look. It's such a cool look with such a tall tank. But he was in here by himself just because his taunting and his terrorizing of the other fish I had in here. But I did add a little, like I said, Julia chromis, if I can find him, he's in here. Little Julia chromis marleyi, and really cool looking, slender, and the spotted pattern on those fish are just awesome. And I'm actually thinking of adding several more. And this guy can be a boss man all he wants. If I have several of them in here, you know, it just spreads his aggression out. But we shall see. A little disappointed that the breeding colony didn't kind of happen the way I wanted to in this tank, because you know, that's what I was hoping for, is to put a pair in here and let them go to town. And I was hoping to see little Lamprologus Brushardi fry, and wasn't so successful this try. Might be something I try in the past, or in the future rather, and we shall see. But I still have that other little Brushardi in the other tank. Not too sure if it's a male or a female, but someday it may be introduced to this tank. But he's really been a dominant brute. Look at him, he's probably chasing the Juliachromis right now. Alright guys, I'm just hanging, but I will keep rolling. Just playing in the fish room. This tank's been very stable the last couple of days. Let me give you a side view before we even take a look, because you can just see the clarity through the side. And I'll always blame that on the surface area in the tank. I mean, all these rocks, every bit of nitrifying bacteria hanging off these rocks are helping with the conditions in this tank. It's helping with the clarity of the water, and is most certainly helping in the development of these fish. But yeah, very, very rich rockscape. You look here, loaded with debris. Thanks for hanging out, guys. There's the Mbuna tank. They've been pretty chill lately. Set them up a much larger rockscape. They can, most of them, even the larger ones, can get down in to even the deeper chasms as of late, because I just made the holes much bigger for them, and they needed it. They need a larger tank very soon, but I've made it work with this huge rockscape, and you know, places for them to be in. I mean, this goes so deep, and they'll change it. Mr. Man has no problem altering the environment to his satisfaction. I'm really digging that clarity tonight, and like I said, it's just a well-established system. Alright guys, that's going to be the fish room update. Thanks for hanging out. Like I said, just cruising as usual. You guys have a good one. Peace.